Very good. I appreciate everybody being here. To start off, you're proud of our guys. Just the way that they went out and competed tonight. The way they prepared this week. Just the attitude, the approach. Overall mindset. I mean, it was a resilient week for how they poured into each other and just wanted to go out and one, just get a win, and then make sure we sent the seniors out the right way. This last home game in this season, our guys have they care so much, and they really do. They pour their hearts into it. There's been some ups and there's some downs throughout. Just the way that we performed, and even that showed up at times tonight. Where it wasn't a great game, in regards to our performance, but those guys, they just continued to battle, and defensively we were able to create 2 takeaways. You had the 2 4th down stops. We did what we needed to do to be able to get off the field and limit them in some of those opportunities. Offensively, we probably left some points out there on the field, but when we needed a big play, we came in the second half, really the last drive of the first half that we had. And getting into the second half and be able to go put touchdowns on the board was big. Jake had early miss and came back and was able to make a couple kicks. Special teams showed up big with Jalen Lucas. Getting out and sparking a couple drives with big returns, and you just felt that you felt all parts of the team working together, and that's what you want to see. Like I said, I'm proud for our players. It was great having Ethan back yesterday at practice, and it was an emotional time for everybody. And obviously seeing him lead us in the legacy walk today into the stadium, being there in the locker room after the game, and just the time with this team. I mean, it means so much to us. And yesterday at the end of practice, I asked him if he had anything to say, and it was 2 words. He said, "Go win." And we were able to get that done for him, and just for this team. And so we got a short week ahead, and it's going to be quick back at it. We'll be rolling as coaches in the morning. We'll have the players come in tomorrow night, but they needed tonight. And definitely grateful for them, and for our fans. That was a great atmosphere tonight. I don't know. It was just a packed stadium, and it was a great atmosphere. To be able to be a part of this last game at home in the 25 season. But all our fans, definitely appreciate them for being here, and just for being able to create that home field advantage.
All right, first question will be Liam over here on your left.
Coach, you touched on what the last couple of days have meant to you guys, but Ethan tonight, when he got shown on the Jumbotron, was one of the loudest cheers of the night. We saw your sideline, Virginia Tech sideline was giving him an applause. The support that he's received, not only from within the program, but externally across the board, and seeing that, what has that meant to you guys and for him?
Well, I mean, he's such an incredible young man, and obviously there's an awful tragedy that happened to him, and you never know why, and it's nothing that he did. It was just really wrong place, wrong time, and but he is the one that he lives the effects of it, and he has fought throughout this process. Not once has he ever said anything negative about the situation, other than he was going to work, and I've talked to him a lot. I FaceTime him a good amount, and most of the time I'm FaceTiming him. He's in the middle of a workout or his rehab, and he's got sweat going down his forehead. Coach, and they're pushing me. I said, "It's all right, buddy. You're built for it." He goes, "Yes, I am. Yes, I am." And he's going to do all that he desires to do because of what's in his heart, and just the passion that he has, and you feel his spirit just around anybody that's around him, and just a great teammate, a great friend, and somebody I love deeply, just for all that he stands for.
All right, next will be Chris.
Deuce is closing in on a 1,000-yard receiving season. You've always spoken about him as a pro, but how impressive is it what he does on a weekly basis for what you guys?
Yeah, I mean, he just continues to show up, and you know, he's a great young man that loves to work. And you know, he came into my office on Monday, and he said, "Coach, you know, what else do you need from me? What else do you want from me? I want to help this team, and I want to be the best I can possibly be." And you know, I challenged him. I said, every day's got to be your championship game. Every day, you know, every day, you got to be willing to be the example. One thing I said, and my favorite play of him tonight was not there. It wasn't any of the catches. You know, he hit a big block on one of the swing passes that we threw, and that's something I challenged him with. Man, I want to see you play without the ball in your hands, and man, he showed up. You know, he probably had his best celebration after the block, and that's where you know, it's easy to get, you know, to see and celebrate, you know, some of the stat line things, which, I mean, he's on pace and doing wonderful things, and you know, answering the call when we need him. But you know, somebody that cares, you know, deeply about his teammates and wants to see their success, wants our success, and is ready to do whatever he needs to make that happen. And looking forward to him continuing to grow, you know, in these last regular season games as we continue to build for what's ahead.
We'll go to your right for Ira.
You mentioned there were some missed opportunities, but it seemed like for the first time in a while, like every phase kind of contribute, as you said, kickoff returns, turnovers on defense. Does this give you a glimpse of, or do you think it can give the guys a glimpse of what it can be when that all kind of comes together?
Yeah, I mean, you know, the capability is there, you know, and we've seen it, you know, in you know, a handful of the games that we played where you see all three phases that are, you know, they don't have to be perfect, you know, and then you're not going to see a perfect, your game. But I mean, when you are complimentary, when you're there to support, you know, I know your defense, we didn't get off the field well enough on third downs, but you know, when they had to answer the call on a couple of fourth downs, when they had to answer the call, you know, by creating takeaways, you know, that's huge. And then, you know, to see, you know, offense be able to respond and go and put us in position, that's what you want. You want to see the team that feeds off of each other, and you know, I thought they did that well. Yeah, I mean, I've got a lot of confidence in what's ahead, and I do believe in the growth that this team is experiencing, but also what they're willing to put themselves through to go and get better. And you know, as we talked, you know, this week in the media availability, I talked about what Sunday night looked like. Well, that was real. I mean, it was their choice, and they came out after a disappointing, you know, game, you know, a week ago, and they, with everything they had, you know, Saturday night was probably you know, one of the better, you know, or Sunday night. I mean, it was one of the better Sunday night practices we've ever had here, and it was a team making a choice just to control what they could control, and that was the moment. And that's really what we need to see throughout the course of the games. That, you know, the offense does great, the defense does great, special teams, you know, well, if one of them have a misstep, right, and you control what you can control, and you go do your job. You focus on your one play, and if we do that, man, I think great things can happen. And tonight we played really disciplined. I mean, I think we only had one penalty tonight. You know, I thought our guys, you know, you could see even in some moments where you could have went a different way. I mean, the things I asked them to do, I mean, I thought they did at a high level.
All right, stay there and go up a row.
Hey, Daniel Desir has a sack in each of his last 4 games. How impactful is it seeing him grow and perform like this as a freshman?
No, I mean, he's definitely a young man that you know, just the sky's the limit for. You know, he's performing. You know, continuing to grow in his confidence and the things that, you know, he's even showing himself that he can do. You know, there's still some other opportunities out there that he's gonna grow from, and but yeah, I mean, he's got a chance to be a really special player. You know, if he'll continue to progress and you know, to learn the lessons, you know, of the good and the bad. But yeah, I'm really proud of him for the productivities that he has, and you just, you know, what we're seeing and his impact within this team.
Corey.
With Ethan being here, the way you guys played, especially in the second half, the crowd being into it and being basically a sold out game, do you allow yourself to like soak that up? Like how cool because winning in college football, as we all know, is hard. Do you allow yourself to enjoy these moments and soak it up?
Absolutely. And you know, I found myself there in the second half during one of one of the breaks, I stopped and looked around, and, you know, Ethan's up, and I did, and, you know, when the next play starts, it's back to it, but I mean, that's what I love that about this place, I love that about, you know, college football in general, and just the you know, it mimics life, and, you know, you could sit there and you go through life, and you can find every problem or every issue and everything that could go wrong, and you pour your focus on that, or you can just, you know, you pour everything that you have into going and growing and being better and make a positive impact on others that you're around, and being grateful for, you know, all the blessings that you have. And I mean, you know, being here, you know, representing this program, I mean, it is special, and it's, you see the fan base, like you mentioned, I mean, it was an awesome atmosphere that second half. You know, our guys, I thought, definitely fed off that. We had a big third quarter, carry that over into the fourth, but you know, I don't ever want to take it for granted, and I don't ever want to, you know, not understand how big this experience is for all those players that stand on that sideline, and how big it is for all those fans that are sitting in the stands, because, you know, we do have we have a great responsibility to represent this place, and you know, it was a great night to be able to do that.
Come over here to Peter on the first row.
Coach, I'm with Ethan. Just not only just him just recovering so quickly, like his determination of not only wanting to walk again, but also wanting to play football again. Just what does that really kind of describe of how he is as an individual? Think about it, when you recruited him, that he had that kind of determination.
Absolute no doubt that he will accomplish all that he puts his mind to, and you know, he's led with the heart. And I mean, I remember going and watching him play in high school, and it was after, you know, I got to watch him live a few years back, and you know, he's one of those guys you just felt on the football field, and you know, you size, measurable speed, you know, he's got some great qualities, but man, just the mentality of what he brought, you know, it was not going to be denied, and you know, and from the day that he's been here, you know, he brings that passion, and you know, even the night that, you know, that he got shot. I mean, we're sitting there, and you know, we just came off a big win. You know, after you know, each win, we celebrate our scout team players of the week, and you know, and I swear to you, this is like, he came into that practice that Sunday night, and man, he was so determined, because you know, the first week he didn't get the scout team player of the week, and he goes, man, what do I gotta do? What do I gotta do? And you know, it's funny because the week prior, you know, he'd had a couple bad plays, and I mean, just keep on. Oh, he goes, I know, I got it. And that Sunday night, it was everything that he was determined this week, and it was going to be his week to go get it done. And you know, it's just his, when you can bring all the passion, all the energy to be the best that you can be, then the circumstance you find yourself in is not going to define you. It's what you do through those circumstances that's going to show the world what you're all about. And you know, I hate what happened to Ethan Pritchard. Like, I mean, it should never happen to any person. You watch him. You need inspiration, you need motivation, you want to understand how to go about doing things in life, watch him. Because I know where he's going, I know what he's going to be able to accomplish, and he's an inspiration to me. And I just love the young man.
Right, Brendan.
What is it about this group where they just, even if things haven't gone well, they've been resilient and they keep fighting? Why do you think that is, I guess?
Because they care. I think we had a really good group that they are talented. You know, they have great ability, but you know, the thing that leads them is their heart. And you know, said that, you know, throughout this season, and you know, like I said, we've had you know, disappointing results, but this is not a defeated football team. This is one that really does care about what they do. You know, who they get to do it with, and you know, they're willing to continue to fight and you know, try to take the positive steps to showcase, you know, the best of them. And when you have those types of characteristics, you know, you can accomplish you know, great things. And you know, even just like through the course of life, and there's gonna be ups and downs. And you know, I'm excited to see, you know, their drive through the end of this regular season to watch them continue to ascend. And, you know, we gotta go on the road this week, and that's something that, obviously, we've not played well on the road. And it's time for us to go get that done. And so, I do believe that they'll answer the call, and, you know, excited for them, but also, you know, honored just to be able to coach this group.
Alright, last one, Ira.
2 for 1.
The offensive line obviously had some things to deal with tonight, and Jacob comes in and plays 2 different positions. I think Andre came in. Just how they battle through that, and then also, could you give us an idea of what this week looks like with the short week?
Yeah, so, I was really pleased and proud of, you know, Rizzy came in, was able to, you know, continue to showcase his versatility. You know, he's been great for us this year, being able to come in and answer the call when, you know, when his number was called. And then, you know, Otto getting in there, he's a guy I'm really excited about, and to be able to go in there and to do a good job on the plays that, you know, he had to answer the call. And, you know, I think we've got some young guys in that O-line group that, you know, are really, you know, they're practicing hard, they're working, they're developing. But, you know, we've got some great examples from older guys that, you have been playing. You know, you go through, you know, 10 games in the regular season, and your body's gonna be, you know, bumps, bruises, you're gonna feel all of it. But, you know, these guys, they're great competitors, and, you know, I thought they did some good things. And, you know, there's some talented guys on the defensive front. They've given everybody problems, you know, and to see that, our guys were ready for the challenge, and, you know, did some good things tonight. So, you know, this week will be, you know, it's gonna be a little bit different. You know, just, we'll be back tomorrow as a coaching staff first thing in the morning. Kind of put this to bed quickly, and then, you know, all our focus is on NC State. We will meet tomorrow night. We'll have, you know, treatments in the morning for the players, but then we'll meet tomorrow night, kind of wrap up, you know, this game, and then, you know, jump right into to the primary focus for NC State this week. And then kind of abbreviated practice on Monday, and then, you know, we'll get after it pretty good there on Tuesday. And, you know, just kind of essentially we lose what Sunday is in a normal week, but we will modify it a little bit, just being this late in the season for our Tuesday practice, which will be on Monday.
Alright, thank you, Coach.
Kind of explain my whole Monday is Tuesday.